Hey everybody, it's Dave here at Holiday for Two, and Happy New Year. And right now I'm working on putting the finishing touches on my next video for California RV Adventures as we took a trip from San Simon of Big Sur to the Redwoods of California. And I think you're going to like this. If you've never been along Big Sur, it is a really awesome drive. But be prepared to take a little time because it's not a fast drive. It's a scenic drive, so you'll want to make sure you have your cameras ready because there's a lot of places to stop and see. And a few campgrounds too, and we'll share those with you on this video. So hope you like this. Big Sur, California, and the Redwoods. Let's take a look and let's go up the coast. Here we go.
So someday when my ship comes in, I know just what we'll do. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two.
When I planned this trip, I knew it was going to be, I wanted to go up the Highway 1. Google Maps will tell you to go up 101, and I really only suggest that if you're pulling a long trailer or if you have a big motorhome. Because I knew there were going to be lots of places that I wanted to see, and like San Martin Rock was a spot where we stopped to take some pictures, and it was beautiful. And we only really stopped there just for a minute. There's a little side break, stretch our legs, and then I noticed the beautiful scenery and decided to put my drone up and take some shots. All the way from where we left to here, it had been foggy, and the fog had finally burned off, and what a beautiful sight. I'm so glad I did. Took the drone up and took some shots. Just beautiful. And this is that San Martin Rock. And there's, you can't see on the other side of the cliff, there's seagulls and sea lions down inside the, behind the cliff there. It's really neat. Not a lot of delays, a few highway delays for road construction due to rains and stuff that happened the summer before. One of the spots that we wanted to stop at was called Mcway Waterfall Trailhead. And it was kind of funny because in the video at the end, I'll tell you about it. We had a rough time getting in here and getting parked because it was so tight. But once of course, we only had a 24.5-foot motorhome, so we were able to get a spot. And got out and did some hiking, and there were lots of people there, and it was a beautiful little walk to Mcway Falls. But once you get there, it is so idyllic. It's such a pretty sight. You definitely want to take your camera and definitely want to take pictures. It's one of those kind of beach areas that remind you of that movie, The Beach. It's an isolated beach that used to be you could actually walk down to the beach, but years ago, California Parks has closed it off to the public, and it's only on a select occasion, and few people can actually get down to the beach now. They've closed it all off, but it's just a beautiful beach. Made it to Henry Cowell Redwood State Park and got in our campsite. Made a few stops for some food and gas before we went on to the campsite. Parking in spot 29. Now this whole campground is under the redwood trees, and there's a lot of undergrowth too. So watch out for ticks if you have animals. If you have a dog or a cat, you want to be sure to watch out for that. Lots of places to hike though around here. We took the second day we were there, we just took a hike around the observation deck. Put my drone up, took some pictures. And realize when you get up here, you can actually see all the way back to Santa Cruz in the ocean when you get up here. It's really neat. Years ago, there was a fire here. I want to say probably 8 to 10 years ago, and destroyed some of the beautiful redwood trees and the beautiful forest here. But there are still a lot of redwood trees left and some really nice hikes. So plan on bringing your camera. This is up on the observation deck, and a little history here of the area and the plants and stuff that grow around there. Gives you a little history of it. And this is actually looking back towards the campground right there. So that's looking kind of southeast right there from the observation deck. Continued on a trail into the redwood trees, and we were not disappointed. You'll see, watch. Huge trees. We are on the Eagle Creek Trail, and we've got about 0.8 of a mile to go back to the campsite. And we've already come about a mile all the way around at the observation deck that we came to earlier. And big redwood trees. Some of these redwood trees are old. Take a look. Up, 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 up. tempted to put the drone up just for fun. Go up, 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 up. There's the redwood trees way up there. Just boom. Whoa. And that's the trail we just came. On our way back to camp, we had a little fun taking some pictures in the trees and time to rest. We had a long trip. So please hit subscribe and like and share this video with others. And I hope you got something out of this. And if you do plan to take a trip to up this area, up Santa Cruz and the Redwoods, it is definitely worth it. Some of these trees can live hundreds of years. Dave here, and again, Happy New Year. Hope you're all having a good time in this new year. And by the time you get this video on YouTube, it will be about January 10th when I think it comes out. And if you are planning a trip to California in the summertime, now would be the time to start booking some of these campgrounds, because that would put it around July 10th. And these are some campgrounds that do book up. Now, when we went in the summer of 2020, a lot of the campgrounds were not fully booked because of COVID. But I guarantee you, as the situation improves, and these campgrounds will fill up. Now, when we left San Simeon Creek Campground to go up to Mcway Redwoods State Park, I planned this ahead. I knew that the route that Google Maps would show me would be to take the 101. And that, of course, is the fastest way. And if you're pulling something that's a long trailer, or you're in a big motorhome, pulling a car behind you, that may be the safest way to go if you're going to go from San Simeon up the coast to up here to San Jose, and then also to Henry Cowles, or anywhere up here on the northern coast of California. I do not suggest you take the one with a long rig, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. There are some tight spots in there, and it's a twisty, turny highway. Now, when we traveled, we weren't towing a vehicle. Our motorhome is a Coachman Freelander QB21, and it comes in just under 25 feet. I think the specs listed as 24 and a half feet long. So we were able to squeak by in a lot of situations that a longer Class A, maybe a 27-foot or a 30-foot Class A, would probably have not been able to get into. We took the route. I decided ahead of time to take the route up the 101. And I'm glad I did, because there are some beautiful things to see, and I could have easily turned this trip into a 3-day trip because of all the things to see. So if you have a smaller rig, if you're in a small van or you're towing a small trailer, boy, this is the way to go. Take it up the coast, plan on a couple of days so you can see everything. We started from San Simeon Creek and headed up and made a little pit stop just around Gorda. That's where you'll see the pictures in the video. You'll see some spots that we stopped at along here called, there it is, near this Tree Bones Resort. We made a little pit stop here at San Martin Rock Scenic Spot. And oh my, that was just incredible. I just pulled off there because I needed to have a little break and have a drink and stuff. And I looked out my window and I thought, what a great opportunity. I'm going to put my drone up and take some beautiful shots. And so that was really beautiful. There's also a restaurant up there that I hear a lot of good things about called Tree Bones Resort. A little resort up on the hill, just throwing that in there. And there are little campgrounds along the way as you go up the coast. And I did find one here at Limekin. I want to show you this. Now, if you're in a small rig that's under 24 feet long, or you're towing a trailer that's a small trailer, this is a good place to check into. If you're going up the coast in a small unit, maybe you're a camper van, this would probably be this would be one of those kind of campgrounds where you could check into. I looked up here, let me show you. But you want to look them up on California Department of Parks and Recreation websites, and I'll show you what I mean. Lime Kiln State Park, if you scroll down, right here it'll tell you. Maximum trailer lengths, trailers up to 15 feet, motorhomes up to 24 feet. So I could have probably squeezed in there with my 24.5 foot Class C. It might have been a tight squeeze. I really don't know, but you do want to check the websites ahead of time just to make sure if you're in a 30-foot Class A, probably not going to be able to get in there. So just kind of look at that ahead of time. And it's always a good idea to go on Google Maps and check your destinations ahead of time. So anyway, going on up the coast, we made a couple other stops. And again, here's some other campgrounds here. Some really nice places to camp if you're in some small rigs. But the place that we stopped at for lunch and we took a little hike around was Mcway Falls. You'll see the pictures in the video. And oh my goodness, was this fun. And again, when we got up to the highway, let me switch to satellite mode. When you get up to the entrance here to Mcway Waterfall Trailhead, it's kind of funny because it is such a tight squeeze. Let me zoom in here and show you the street view. When I got here, I want to say there was a sign here somewhere by the road. It doesn't show it on Google Maps, but I did see a sign that said 25-foot vehicles restricted to 25 foot or less. And I saw that sign and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. But I did pull in the parking lot there and I was able to get parked up in here right near where the ranger station is right here, and I was able to park on this side of the road. I was just lucky. I got up here and it was crowded with people. I was able to turn my 24.5-foot motorhome around and park right against the side there, and there was another motorhome right in front of me too, about the same size. So it was kind of funny. There was two of us parked in there, but I wouldn't push it if I was any longer than that. Definitely, it's a real tight squeeze up there. Now, if you have a camper van or a trailer, I wouldn't take a trailer up there. There are places you can park along the road here if you're pulling a trailer that you can park off to the side. Like here's a big parking spot on the side of the road over here where you could park and then walk up to the trailhead. But just a beautiful little hike, and you go on this overlook here. And when you get on the overlook over here, you can take pictures of Mcway Cove. It's one of those places that years ago you used to actually be able to hike down to the beach, but they don't let you do that anymore because there were so many people going down there and kind of trashing it out, I guess. But it looks like one of those beaches you see in a movie, like an idyllic beach scene where people are on the beach. There you go. Couple of little snapshots, and I know there's some pictures in the video of it. It's just an incredibly beautiful little scenic beach, and it's very tempting to want to go walk down there and hang out on the beach because it would just be a lot of fun, but was not to happen. But we were able to see it and hike around it and take some really good shots. Well, let me switch back here to terrain mode. There we go. So going up the coast, like I said, it's a twisty turny road all the way up. But we were able to make it in a 24.5-foot Class C. Didn't have any problems. There were a few spots where they were doing road work and things like that. I think I showed a picture of that in the video. And made a few other stops for gas along in here. There's lots of stations. Use your Gas Buddy app to help you find gas stations. And finally made our way up to Santa Cruz. By the time we got to Santa Cruz, I think I left San Simeon about 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe 8:30, and I think we pulled into Santa Cruz about 3 or 3:30. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how long that trip is going to take, with just a few stops. All right, so if you're taking a lot of stops and you want to really sightsee up 101 or up the 1, then take some time and plan to stop in some of those campgrounds that I showed you, because believe me, you will enjoy it. Otherwise, maybe camp here in Santa Cruz and drive your tow vehicle down the coast just for the day so you can kind of see those things. If you're in a big Class A and you've got a tow vehicle, park your Class A somewhere and then drive down the coast in your smaller vehicle. That would be the safer way to do it, because it is a twisty, turny road. When we got into Santa Cruz, we pulled into the Costco here, just up a little bit before we went up to the campground. There's Henry Cal. And I want to say there was there's the Costco. And that was a great spot. Let me switch to satellite mode here for you. It was really nice. We pulled off the freeway, got into Costco, filled up with gas, bought a couple of hot dogs at Costco because we love their hot dogs. Got some other things, some drinks and some supplies that we needed for the trip ahead, and just relaxed for a few minutes before we made it up to to the park, to Henry Cowell Redwoods State Park right there. And it's a really nice little park, very shaded. A couple of things I can think of off the top of my head. If you have a dog, we believe that you want to watch out. Don't let your dogs lay down too much. I think there were some ticks at this time of year. This was like in late June when we stopped there. So just kind of be on a lookout for that. It's a really beautiful place, and it's got lots of undergrowth. And I think that's probably where the ticks came from. So we had to give our dog a little tick collar and a little tick, some of those little tick drops to get those ticks off him. But I think he picked them up in this park right here. It was either here or San Simeon, but I believe it was here. Beautiful hiking around this area. We went to the observation deck, hiked around through here and around in the big redwoods. There's huge redwood trees out here. Incredible. And did a kind of a big circle and came back in around to the campgrounds. There's also a train station up here where you can get train rides. Oh my goodness, it's a roaring camp. Lots of things to do in this area. We spent 2 days here. The first night we got in at 3 or 4 o'clock, got our supplies, got our campground, did a little hike. The next day is when we did our long hike, going around through the trees and stuff and just seeing everything, and it was beautiful. And then of course the next day, after 2 nights with 2 nights there, then we went from here to Lake Tahoe and Yosemite. But this was a lot of fun. Some tips, like I said, if you're in a big rig and in a big motorhome, Class A, or you're pulling a long trailer, I would suggest that you park your motorhome, Class A, or your truck and trailer, maybe park somewhere like in Monterey, or actually you could get up to where we were here in San Simeon. You can get to there, that's fine. It's not until you get up to where it says Ragged Point here, from Ragged Point all the way up to probably Carmel is where the road is real twisty turning, and so just kind of watch out for that. Otherwise, if I had a big rig, I would park it down lower here in one of these areas and then drive our tow vehicle up and see some sights, or park up in Monterey and drive down. And that way you can still have your big rig with you, and you could still see the sights along the one. Take your camera, take your video cameras. It's just beautiful. So I hope this helps you and gives you some tips, and hope you have fun. If you ever plan a trip this way, it will definitely be worth it. Take care. Have a good New Year.